that I want to mention is we also have Dial-A-Ride. Dial-A-Ride is a form of transportation. It's an on-demand service. So in the event that you need a ride from your home to the supermarket, or your home to the doctor's office, or your home to wherever you need to go, you could give us a call and we would be able to transport you and bring you back. It's a free service, and it is 932-2530, and you punch 4.
Have you been approached, and I said it here probably first on the air when they had this whole thing going on with the buses where they can't find funding, and my viewpoint would be, if no one's going to fund something, try to find at least some money, and let's build upon what you have. And I know you have your hands full, but at the same time, I know you don't want to see people not having rides. So if there is some money under this current situation, why don't we go to the townships? I don't know if you're the only one that has Dial-A-Ride, but let's use those buses 24/7. Let's buy a few more if we need to. Let's get a few more drivers that are going to be let go from the other place because they've already got the licensing. And let's keep this busing going for those people that need it. And I think we can do it as efficient as possible with how you're doing it at Dial-A-Ride.
We have sat down, and we've sat down with a couple different townships, and we're moving in the right direction. And also Margot from South Lake. So she handles basically the eastern part of Hobart and Maryville, and she runs a phenomenal service. And we just began the process of talking to Gene Shepard in St. John Township, and we've talked to Calumet Township. The challenge that I have with that, because I am in the middle of that, is when the RBA, if the RBA does not receive funding by June 1st, then there will be extra funds that will be available. But those funds through NERPC are only available for operations. So, and maintenance and capital, I'm sorry, not for operations. So
you'd have to purchase the bus.
They'll purchase the bus.
But you're going to have
80%.
But you're going to have the ongoing maintenance and people putting in.
No, the cost that I can incur is the employment, and that's the only thing that the federal money won't cover. And because of the tax caps, see, the demand could be great where I would need 100 buses, but because we're at frozen levy and the 1%, I just had to, in January 1st, we had to separate with 4 people at the township. So I can't meet the demand because
you can't bring 100 drivers on. You can't pay for the 100 drivers.
And it's an expense of probably $30,000 a year. And so we're in a tough spot. We have to figure that out. And it's a matter of shifting priorities, because what's going to happen is the people that are most at risk if the RBA goes under are, of course, the people who are handicapped and the paratransit. Paratransit is if you live within a quarter mile of a bus stop, that federal guidelines say that you have to be able to offer paratransit rides. Currently, AAA Taxi Cab does all the handicap and senior rides and low-income rides, and that'll end also. And they say within North Township, that's 1,500 extra rides a month. And the fact of the matter is we're kind of doing it all hands on deck. Tom from accounting is going to have a driver's the CDL, and I asked my transportation.
Everybody's a team member,
right? I asked my transportation director, Jerry Siska, to get a CDL, and I had to persuade him to do that. He took care of that.
Guys that are working at the golf course, what are you doing in January? You're going to be driving a bus,
right? Prescott has driven for a long time. We've done that all. We've done that through the entire tenure at my place. And so,
Frank, you're one of the very few. I mean, and I'm friends with Frank, and that's you. I'm not just saying this. You actually have done that. The regular world has done that a long time ago.
Right.
If you work for the township, you're not a park employee.
Right.
You're a township employee.
Right.
And if the township needs you to drive a truck, you need to drive a truck. We'll give you the training. We'll teach you how to do it. But you may do that on Monday.
Right.
Just like in the mill. If you're a laborer, you may be in one building today, and if we've got a shutdown over here, you're going over there. We have to get out of that thought process in government that, well, I work for the parks, so if nothing's going on in the parks, I'm still going to stay there. No, you're an employee of a city or a town or a county, and during this time we need 90 bodies for 2 weeks. Well, you're going to go learn how to do that.
Right.
And the thing that does, I always looked at it the opposite way when I worked in private sector before I started my company. Teach me as many skills as I can get,
right?
Because when we do have layoffs, I'm going to be higher up because I have 5 skills, not one.
Of skills, right?
So that's just my pitch. 845-1100. I know Dan called. If you want to call back. We were in the midst of talking about the buses, which I think is, I know that it's going to be tough. I think we have to have buses for people. I don't know what form it needs to take. I'm not that smart. I just know that we have enough smart people, and we should be able to take the money that we have and work with the people. I said before, and I didn't know that you were already meeting, but it makes sense. You guys have Dial-A-Ride. Let's put the money together with the buses. Let's not worry about, who's running this or what organization has this or that. Let's do what makes the most sense and then solve the problem and go to the next one.
Correct. And what also exists is, and I don't want to talk too technical, but there also exists an infrastructure of technology that allows us to dispatch and be very technically advanced that the RBA brought in, which is housed in South Lake with Margot. And what it does is it's a central dispatch system that we're all licensed on, and it puts a GPS in the buses so we know the most efficient paths for everyone to go. For example, if I need to take someone from Whiting to St. John, and St. John Township Trustee Gene Shepard joins with us, we'll be able to utilize most efficiently our routes. So first of all, you punch all that in, but secondly,
it's going to tell you who to pick up. It's going to tell you where they're going along the way.
Right. So if her bus is in a centralized area, it can bring it to what they call a kiss point, where our bus meets their bus, and then we take them back. Or if it's more efficient, they would take them back. We have the technology, not to be the $6 million man, but we have the technology in place where all those GPS systems are in the buses, so our dispatches are able to coordinate together to be able to run the most efficient way. With gas at $4 a gallon, it's something that it's been in existence for 2 years, and it works very well.
Excellent. So you're hearing some of, I think, what may be the solutions to the bus, because I haven't seen an appetite, and I don't want to be the one that gives the bad news, and Tim Brown has called in before, and he's had his own show here. I just don't know if someone's going to have the money or the will at the county level to keep the RBA going. I know that the RDA said that they'll help out if they have a long-term plan. I don't know if that's going to come in with the 1, 2, 3 property tax caps that we all share.
Right.
So we'll let that play out, and if the funding falls short, it looks like that it's going to be coming your way in some form or fashion.
Correct. And to go head on at this, the financing is the most important part of the RBA. And Tim Brown and their organization states that there's 30,000 rides a month. And ultimately, if they build it as they built the RBA program, the numbers have gone up. I believe that there's not a will also. I know I was quoted in the Hammond Times, and I was at the last meeting, and I was talking about the different options. You have a local option income tax, which I don't believe is an option. You have a wheel tax that didn't pass. You have a low-income revenue-generating tax credit source that they could tap into, which is very complicated and wouldn't happen until the General Assembly came back. And then for every story, and I'm not talking badly because they've done bad things, but the facts of the matter are, and I'm piggybacking off of what Mayor McDermott had said, the RDA can fund, the RDA, Regional Development Authority, can fund the Regional Bus Authority. But philosophically, they choose not to go into that. They choose to stick to economic development, the Marquette Greenway, Wolf Lake, and different things that will drive economic development along the lakeshore. But they do have the option to do that, but they choose not to. And I believe that pressure should be applied there